All right, so I just want to go over a few things that are going to change this semester. It's not very many, and then we're going to start trig today, okay? And then I have a few pictures to show you. So over the break, let's see, my daughter got some roller skates and a new desk because she only had like this really small Hello Kitty table to do her work on, and she wanted a big girl desk, so she got a desk. My son, he got zombie army men, if that makes any sense. So you know how like the army men come in like big packs. So my son wanted one of those, but with zombies. So that's what we got him. And he got like some markers and stuff. And then both of them got new bed sets from Santa. So that was nice. So that was what we did for Christmas. And then for New Year's, our best friend's parents just bought a lake house in Yosemite. So for New Year's Eve, we went up there and celebrated in the lake house. So I got a couple pictures here. Let me see if it'll... Here we go. So the picture on the left is the view from my room. Yeah, Yosemite is beautiful. So the lake is right there. The lake is actually empty right now because it's winter. They fill it up in the summer. They're actually starting to fill it now. So it'll be filled by like springtime. So there's the forest, and yeah, that was the view from my room. And then on the right, this picture of this giant screen. So our best friends work for Monster Energy, and he is like the video producer guy. He does like all their commercials and everything. So he's a bunch of gear, and he brought his giant projector screen so we could watch the ball drop on it, and we did karaoke on it. So it was pretty fun. So that was what we did for New Year's Eve. We stayed there for like 4 days. So we got there like the day before New Year's Eve, and we stayed until Saturday. So it was a lot of fun. All right, so let's go through some changes to the syllabus. I know, right? Wow, it was like an incredible experience. You don't get the opportunity to do that very much. So we're really, really lucky that our friends invited us to go. So yeah, it is a huge house. It's like 5,200 square feet. It was like a $3 million house that they bought. It's pretty legit. So they manage real estate all the time. So they bought the lake house to use as an Airbnb. So as soon as like summertime comes, they're going to be renting it out so people can stay there and go to the lake. So they'll make their money back pretty quick on it. Okay, yeah, so real estate, good investment. All right, so a few changes. First thing, Remind did not change. Remind is the same, but so I reposted the link on Google Classroom. So the link for Remind is there, but it's not different. So if you've already joined Remind, then you don't need to do it again. But if you haven't joined Remind yet, the link is there for you to do it this semester. Wow, really? That's interesting, Eric. Where was that at? Oh, LA. Yeah, the LA market is interesting. If you can get into it for cheap, you can do a lot with it. So that's pretty cool. All right, so our grading policy changed just a little bit, not a lot. So assessments are still 40%. Khan Academy, it has its own category now. So Khan Academy is worth 10%. Instead of it being lumped in with participation, I decided to give it its own category. So it's not as much, it's not like before it was part of your participation, which was like 35% of your grade. So now it's its own category. Mathia was 15%. I bumped it down to 10%. Participation and assignments that we do in class are worth 25%. And then final is 10%, which is what it was. And math journal is 5%, which is what it was. So just a few changes. I feel like this will work out a little bit better in terms of the grading. So the assessments part is exactly the same. You will still be allowed to do test corrections, just like we did before. It was just like in the syllabus, it said you had to do those during tutoring, and we never did that. So I updated the syllabus so that it actually says that you're going to complete test corrections on the weekend that it's assigned. So we usually do a test on Thursday and Friday, and then you know what your test score is. So then you're allowed to do a test correction that week or that weekend and get it to me by Sunday. So I actually just put that in the syllabus this semester. Khan Academy is going to work the same way it did last semester, so except it has its own grading category now. So of course you have a day during the week to work on it, and you know that usually that's not enough time, but it does give you some time to get ahead on it. And then I check to make sure everybody's logged in and putting on minutes. And as long as you're logged in that day, you get points for participation that day. And then on your, you have a day to turn in like the cumulative, right? So you have to finish all of them by this day. And that's the day that I grade your actual scores. Okay. Math is exactly the same. You'll have like 1 or 2 a week to do, and you turn them in by Sunday and get them done. Participation is the same, except it's 25% of your grade. I think it's a little bit lower than last semester just because I gave Khan Academy its own category. Final is the same, 10% of your grade. No makeups on the final, have to be here for that. Math journal is the same. Every week you have a math journal, unless like next week you might have, actually no, next week you'll have a math journal. The week after that you'll have like a graphic organizer to fill out. So just depending on what we have going on in the class, you'll either have a math journal or some kind of like homework or something to do. And that's it, just the one assignment though. Okay, so late assignment is the same as it was last semester. So if you have something going on that you need to tell me, have your parents email me and let me know, so that way I can give you some extra time or even excuse you from the assignment depending on what the situation is. But other than that, you have 4 late homework passes. So let me click over to our Google Classroom. Let me go to period 4 here. All right, so if you go to classwork, under important resources and links, I've taken out all the stuff we don't really need this semester. Your late homework passes are up at the top. So if you click on late homework passes and you click on it, it will take you to your new late homework passes. So these ones have like a blue purple background. Last semester they were gray, so don't use the gray ones, use like the blue purple ones. But you have brand new late homework passes this semester, 4 of them. Again, for each one you don't use, that's extra credit at the end of the semester. And so the goal is to not use them unless it's an emergency, right? So you have all these brand new ones to use this semester. And then again, here's the remind link just in case you haven't joined it yet. And then here's the syllabus that we're doing right now. And then I do have a new link for tutoring. It's right here. And I'm still planning on having tutoring every Tuesday, unless I have a meeting, and then we'll probably have to like move it to a Friday or something. But of course, I'll let you guys know. But the new link is here for tutoring this semester. Okay. So that was it for late homework passes. Again, just went over tutoring every Tuesday unless I have to change it. Parent-teacher conferences is all the same. So if your parent wants to meet with me, they can send me an email. Usually they go through the office and the office sets it up anyways. So it is what it is. All right, so we are going to begin trigonometry today. Trig is one of my favorite subjects. It only works with right triangles. So it doesn't work with every single triangle in the world, only right triangles. And if you guys recall, last semester we ended with special right triangles. So we did 30-60 90s and 45-45 90s, but trig works for any right triangle. So it doesn't have to be just those two. It can be any right triangle. It just has to be a right triangle for trig to work. And you know, I didn't learn that until I was in college. I thought trig worked all the time, but it doesn't. It only works for right triangles. So let me give you guys the link for our whiteboard today. We're gonna do some really easy trig. Like intro to trig even. It's not even the whole thing. What is going on with my chat? Okay, hold on a second. Copy. Paste. It's not pasting. Hold on. Paste. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. Copy. Paste. There we go. Okay, there's the link in the chat, so please go ahead and click on that and get yourself a whiteboard. We're just going to do 3 practice problems today on an intro to trig. And in fact, what we're doing today is not even really trig, it's just introducing what you need to be thinking about. So let me click this tab that we can share. Let's see, okay, you're getting people logged in. while you guys are doing that, I'm going to take attendance really quick. It's not scary at all, Nicholas. In fact, I think that trig is pretty easy. Of course, there's some things that are a little difficult. That's just math in general. But like, if you can understand this part, the rest of it comes pretty easy. My computer's running really slow, and it's probably because I'm recording the lecture. Okay. So again, get yourself a whiteboard, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I'm just taking attendance right now. Now, if for some reason the whiteboard app doesn't work for you, because we know that sometimes it doesn't, just get a separate sheet of paper out. You can do it on paper and then submit it, like submit a picture of it later on today. It's like we missed me. Nope. Here. Okay, looks like everybody's here. Cool. All right, let's see how many whiteboards we have. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, we're good. Okay. All right, so I want you guys to be on the whiteboard tab and toggle your teacher whiteboard. I'm going to push the same picture I have on my screen to you. Okay, let's make sure it gets popped up. There it goes. All right, so we're going to do this one together. So again, you want to be on the whiteboard tab and toggle my whiteboard so you can see. Yeah, James, let me give it to you. So you guys can see what I'm doing. And then you're going to follow along on your whiteboard. So you're going to be writing exactly what I'm writing on my whiteboard on your whiteboard. So that way you just, you go along with me. Thank you, Renzo. I say my internet's running a little slow right now. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. All right, so the goal for today is you're going to be given what's called a reference angle. So a reference angle is just going to be like the angle that we're going to be looking at. And then based on the reference angle, you have to decide which side is your hypotenuse, your opposite, and your adjacent. So that's all we're doing today is looking at a reference angle and then labeling the sides and figuring out what the lengths are. So it's not too bad. So let me go ahead and get my screen into view of my iPad really quick. There we go. All right, so again, on your whiteboard, you're following along with me. So number one, use angle X as your reference angle. So what you want to do is you actually kind of want to bold angle X. So let me make sure my pencil's selected here. So what I do is I kind of take that little arc and I just kind of bold it a little bit like this. So that way I know that this is my reference angle. Okay, so you're going to do that on yours. And then we need to find the length of the following sides. So we need to find the hypotenuse, the opposite, and the adjacent. So the hypotenuse is always the easiest because it is your biggest side. So 15 is the biggest side. So I want you guys to label this side as the hypotenuse. And then right next to 1A, you're going to write 15 because that's the length of the hypotenuse. Okay, so we're labeling it and we're writing the length down. Okay, once you have that, next is you have to figure out what side is opposite angle X. So this is why the reference angle is important because it changes depending on what angle you're looking at. So my reference angle is angle X, and it looks like the side opposite of it is going to be that 9 there, right? Because it's on the other side of the triangle from angle X. So I want you guys to label this side opposite. And next to 1B, we're going to write the number 9. So that leaves only one side left, which is the adjacent side. So adjacent means next to. So I need to find the side that is next to angle X. But if you look, you actually have two sides that are next to angle X, right? But one of the sides is already the hypotenuse, so you can't use the hypotenuse again. You have to use the other side, which is the 12. So you're going to label this side as the adjacent side. And for 1C, you're going to put 12 because that's the length of the adjacent side. So again, adjacent is always the side that's right next to the angle that is not the hypotenuse. Okay, so make sure you have this label. Looks good, guys. Oh, James, let me push this to you. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so now what I want you guys to do is change colors on your pencil. So you're gonna select that little paint thing and pick a different color, whatever color you want, because we're gonna use a different color for angle Y. All right, so now angle Y, make sure, nope, it didn't change colors. I didn't think so. Let me try it again. There we go, now it's changed colors. There we go, yep. All right, so angle Y, I'm making mine blue. You can pick yours, whatever you want. So now when angle Y becomes my reference angle, that is gonna change a few things. So again, you need to make sure you bold it so you know which one is your reference angle. Okay, now hypotenuse is actually exactly the same because the hypotenuse never changes, it's always the longest side. So right above the 15, we're gonna write hypotenuse in blue because that hasn't changed. And then next to 2A, we're gonna write 15. So hypotenuse never changes. Now, when you go to do your opposite and your adjacent, that is what changes. Because now you have a different angle that you're looking at, and your opposite and your adjacent sides are going to be different now. So when you go to do your opposite side for Y, it looks like opposite of Y is actually going to be the 12. So we're going to label this side opposite. And next to 2B, we're going to put 12. So that leaves the 9 as my adjacent side because it's right next to angle Y and it is not the hypotenuse. So we're going to label side 9 as adjacent, and then next to 2C, we're going to put 9. So basically, the opposite and the adjacent side switched, right? From 1 to 2, they switched. And that's always going to happen because the hypotenuse never changes. Now, the thing here to note, you don't have to write this down. I just want you to pay attention. Let me pick a red, I guess. We never use the 90-degree angle as a reference angle. We never do that. And the reason is because if you look at the side opposite, that's the hypotenuse. So you can't have a side be both the hypotenuse and the opposite side. It doesn't work. Like you're left with a side that's not labeled. So you can't use the 90-degree angle as a reference angle. We never do. Okay, so you should never be using your 90-degree angle as a reference angle. And most of the time, you're told what your reference angle is anyways, so you don't have to really worry about it. But we never, ever, ever use the 90-degree angle because it would be hypotenuse and opposite, which we can't do. Okay. And it looks good, guys. It looks good. Really good job. All right, so I'm going to push a question to you now. It's exactly the same thing except with different numbers, basically. Okay, so let me get the next question. So I'm going to push this one to your whiteboard, and as soon as you get it, you can start working on it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to get this filled out. Make sure you use 2 different colors, a different color for number 1 and for number 2. No, Eric, you don't. There isn't really a whole lot of work to be shown. You can just write the numbers down if you know them, but if you want to label the triangle, you can. Some people like labeling the triangle first because it makes it very clear what the answer is. And but if you can see it right away, you don't have to do it. If your whiteboard isn't working, please let me know in the chat because I am checking people off as I see them writing on their whiteboards for participation today. Make sure you do number 1 and number 2. We'll go a couple more minutes. All right, guys, that looks pretty good. Just a couple of people finishing up number 2. Make sure you answer the question like 1A, 1B, 1C. You got to actually write down the numbers. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and do this one with you. It looks like everybody pretty much got it right. So go fast. So again, angle X is number 1, so you want to highlight that so you know that's your reference angle. And then 29 is your hypotenuse, 17 is your opposite, and 23 is your adjacent. So I would just put 29, 17, and 23. And then let me switch colors. Okay. And then when angle Y becomes my reference angle, let me bold that one. Then my hypotenuse stays the same. My opposite side becomes 23 and my adjacent side becomes 17. So then I get 29, 23, and 17. Okie dokie. And it looks like everybody got that. So very good. Good job, guys. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to do one more. Again, it's exactly the same thing. Let me just save these whiteboards before I do. There we go. Saving these. Okay, and let me click over to my next one. And here we go. All right, so I'm going to push this last one to you. Yeah, Nicholas, that's exactly right. Yeah, once you label angle X, Y is just opposite and adjacent switched. Yeah, Daniel, I saw that. Let me try giving it to you, like personally. Let's see. There you go. Okay, let's see how we're doing. How to draw. Okay, we're just waiting for a few people to finish up number 2, it looks like. So as silly as this may seem, this is like, if you can do this, trig becomes pretty easy, because if you can identify the sides, then you'll be able to identify the trigonometric ratios. So that's what we're working up to. So right now we want to just be able to to find out the sides, and then later we're going to start dividing the sides. So if you guys remember when we did similar triangles, we were dividing like medium, medium, large, large, small, small. But instead of calling them small, medium, and large now, we're going to be calling them hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent. So we'll be dividing sides, and then based on what 2 sides you're dividing, that gives you your trig ratio. So we have to be able to know what the sides are to be able to figure out what the ratio is, right? Because there's sine, cosine, and tangent. So they each have something different they're dividing. So if we can figure out the sides, we can figure out the ratios. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one with you guys. It looks like everybody's done. And it looks like everybody got it right. So again, angle X, my reference angle, so I bold that. And it looks like I have hypotenuse, the 24 is opposite, and the 37 is adjacent. So I have 41, 24, and 37 as number 1, A, B, and C. Then let me change my color. Change it to orange. And then Y becomes my reference angle. Hypotenuse stays the same. Opposite becomes 37. Adjacent becomes 24. So I have 41, 37, 24. All right. Pretty easy stuff for today. All right, and it looks good. It looks like everybody filled out their whiteboard today, so that's good. All right, so take a moment and go to Google Classroom and turn today in. I think you just mark it as done, and I will give you guys your full credit for today. Excellent job. Tomorrow we're going to be doing almost the same thing, except we're going to actually be dividing them, so we will be doing the ratios, and then we're going to cut out a triangle. All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. My alarm's going off. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.